The value that I come back to that drives me probably the most is we just call it the 4 wins. And it means that everything that we do has to benefit the client, the lawyer or the service provider, us, and the profession. So it's 4: the client, the service provider, our company, and the profession. And anything that fails that 4-win test, we don't do. And it's one of the best things that I've ever done is to have this guiding. We've got 6 values, but that's the first one. And that's the one that I always start with, because if you know, I was thinking about this the other day. There was a client who wanted a cheaper price, and there was a lawyer that I had on my books who's out of work, and he hasn't worked for about 6 months. And, you know, it went across my mind. I thought, I bet he would take, you know, quite a low price. Like, he'd be willing to work for quite a bit less than what I think the market rate should be. And that would satisfy this client who's being very kind of, you know, I don't know what the word is, focused on price. But you know what, long term, that's not in his interest, and it's not in the client's interest, because he'll just, as soon as he gets a better offer, he's going to leave them. You know, as soon as he gets paid a little bit more, he'll go somewhere else. And so they'll lose him. It's not in our interest to set a market price that is below what the true value of the service is. And it's not in the profession's it's not in the profession's interest to be just delivering on price rather than on value, and rather than on the end product, and rather than on service. So even though it kind of crossed my mind to think, I could probably do this deal at a lower price, it didn't pass the 4 wins. And then that's it. I don't have to think about it anymore. It's failed the test and I can move on. No, I'm going to price him, you know, at the lower end of what we think the price is, but certainly nothing like what I think he would probably ultimately take at this moment in time, and what the firm would be delighted, you know, to receive, but which long term is not the right price and is not in their interest. It's not in not in ours, not in the profession's. So the 4 wins is really, really valuable. It really helps guide, and it's this kind of being value based. People don't realize how much easier it makes business, how much easier it makes decisions. There are so many decisions that you don't have to even go any further down because they don't pass the test. Now you're done. You know, if you think about the kind of, we've got this person we want to recruit. We think they're going to make us millions of dollars a year, but there's a bit of a downside. You know, we're a bit concerned there's not a cultural fit. And when I say there's not a cultural fit, you know, there's quite a few sort of rumours or reputation about this person in terms of how they treat staff, how they treat clients, how they behave outside of work. You know, we could see this could be really quite a handful. If you don't already have a value that you won't accept sort of people treating your staff badly, and people treating clients badly, and people behaving, you know, not as you would hope a professional to behave outside of work, if that's not a guiding value for you, then you sit down and you make the decision based on money. Well, they're going to make us $3 million a year. How many lawyers would have to leave for us to end up, you know, in the red over that? Like, that's quite a few lawyers' salaries before you end up actually losing money over this person who's bringing you in $3 million. If lawyers are only paid $150,000 or $200,000, you can lose quite a few lawyers before you start to end up, you know, losing money. If that's your value, what that means is that you're saying our value is just money. That's it. That's all we've got here. But if it isn't, if your value is actually based on your people, then you don't have to have that conversation with yourself anymore. You're like, oh, well, you know, we won't make that money from that person, but nor will we, but we can't, because it goes against everything we stand for to hire somebody who we know, or have very good reason to know, is going to be a risk, you know, in that to our people. It just makes decisions so much easier, keeps everything very straightforward.